Okay, welcome everyone. My name is Kevin Ross, if we haven't met yet. I am the founding chairman of Washington First Robotics, also known as First WA. And tonight's briefing is going to tell you about how to safely arrive and work yourself around the FRC event in Seattle. Just a really quick logistics about this. Because there's so many people on the line, we've got everybody muted. I apologize about that. If you have a question, there's a little hand that you can press on your control screen there, and that'll put your hand up, and I will try and connect. Can anybody else hear me? I got Brandon's asking if there's supposed to be audio. I'm assuming there's audio. If you can hear me, type something into the chat window or the question window. Okay, so thank you so much. I will answer him. All right, so off we go. So your microphone is going to be muted by default, and you are welcome to either type in questions or raise your hand. I see David. David has raised his hand. David Levine, I guess, or Levine. You can also lower your hand with the same control. So let me know, and I may click on you, and your microphone may turn on. So don't be alarmed if that happens. I'll give you a little heads up about that. And the slides for this presentation are already up there, at least the ones from this afternoon. I have made a couple of slide edits, but they will be up on our website here pretty soon, as well as recording this. All right, off we go. What are we going to talk about? I want to give you a quick overview of the schedule. We're going to talk about the always exciting logistics, which are slightly different this year. They're similar, but they are slightly different. We're going to talk a little bit about some things that we'd like the veteran teams to bring along. Then we're going to talk about load in, which is really important, and load out. And then towards the end, I will talk a great deal about inspection day. I front loaded the presentation so that if you're a veteran and you don't want to hear about inspection day, then you're welcome to go ahead and leave after that. Hopefully I can get this done in about 40 minutes or 30 minutes or so. So we'll see what happens. The schedule for the entire event, just for the rookies that are with us tonight, on Wednesday is when you're going to drop off your robot and all of your pit materials. Not a whole lot happens on Wednesday. Thursday is when your team arrives and we do inspections. Friday is when we do the game starts, and the game will continue through Saturday. Key thing for you to know as a team is we're kind of expecting you to show up on Wednesday night, and we expect you to take everything home with you by Saturday evening. We are out of the building and gone Saturday evening. It'll take us all day on Wednesday to set up. You would be amazed that this crew can actually tear this entire thing down and be gone by 9 p.m. It's a sight to behold, actually. Okay, let's talk about Wednesday. Just as an overview, this is load-in day. It happens, and here's the change, everybody. Load-in is from 6 p.m. to 8:30. That's a little bit shorter than we had last time. We don't have the building as long this time. So the pits, we're going to start closing this thing down at 8:25, and we really actually have to have everybody out by 8:30. That's our deal with the building. So this is entirely deliver your stuff, turn around, and leave day. There's one inspection activity, and we'll talk about that a little bit. Okay, so you don't need to plan on bringing your entire team for Wednesday. Thursday is known as inspection day. We have a late load-in period, and at 7:45, we'll talk about that in a minute. The pits open at 8:30. In fact, almost everything starts at 8:30. In the actual pit inspections start at 10, and then we'll be done by 8 o'clock. Okay, so that isn't so bad. Um, and I'm going to harp on this a lot. Your goal for Thursday is to get your robot to pass inspection, period. The gameplay has nothing to do with it. You really have to get your robot to pass inspection on Thursday. So it can be a very long day, especially if this is your first event. Make sure that you're thinking about it and being prepared. Don't plan on wandering in around 5-ish or so, hoping that things are going to happen. It just doesn't work that way. You really want to be there in the morning and be very, very good about realizing when you need to ask for help. Every team in the place is there to help you. It's the biggest honor is in FIRST, so have at it. If you need help, ask. And in general, teams with lower numbers have been around a while, and in theory, the teams with lower numbers have some experience that may be able to help you. Now, don't get fooled. Some of the teams with bigger numbers also have a lot of experience, like 1983 and 3574, and and mostly because these are teams with mentors who have been doing this for years. They just are newer teams. So there you have it. If you're new to this event, let me show you where it is. We've got a couple of folks from actually out of the country tonight, so I'm just going to give you a very gross view of where you are. This is the very northwest corner of the United States, and you're in Seattle. Seattle is where you're going is literally at the intersection of I-90, which is the main northern highway, and I-405, which is the main north-south highway, and I-90, which is the main east-west highway. So it's right here at the corner. Okay. For everybody else who's a little bit more local, this is where we're going now. We are going to the CenturyLink Event Center. All of the maps are going to say Quest, and that's to be expected. The name changed not too long ago, and the maps have not been thoroughly updated yet. Actually, sometimes I get the correct names on, sometimes I get the correct map on some of the maps, and sometimes I don't. I don't know what's going on there, but anyway, this is the facility that we're going to. It is an enormous facility. I just want to give you a quick overview because we're going to be using most of this facility at one point or another, or at least referencing it. Quest Event Center is down here in the lower left. CenturyLink Event Center is in the lower left. This is the main building where we're going to be. There's another building called East Hall, which is number 3 here, and that's also the parking garages on top of it. East Hall is the first floor. The parking garage is everything from the second floor up to the 6th floor. Okay. The other thing that you need to know about is where the north lot is, and that's this parking lot up here on the corner of King Street, or at the end of King and 2nd Street, I guess, 2nd Avenue. And so we're going to be talking about this as well. So to actually get into the East Hall, we have to go up and around the building. I'll explain that to you. But anyway, as you can see, this is a big facility, so you might want to bring a map with you. Let's talk real quick about parking. As always, FIRST doesn't provide parking passes for anybody, volunteers or either. Sorry about that, folks. We appreciate your support. You will need to find your own parking. Now, we recommend the CenturyLink Garage, and it'll cost $11 per day. The daily pass does not have in-out privileges. They have given us the option, if you'd like, for $33, you can get a multi-day pass that will allow overnight parking in the CenturyLink Garage, and that will be for that will let you to enter and exit again. So something to consider. I'm probably going to get the $33 pass. All right. Unlike most parking garages, this one you actually enter on the 2nd floor. So this is Royal Brome. It's actually now called Edgar Martinez Way, I believe. Anyway, when you use your when you try and come down here, you're going to find that this picture does not match reality, and this ramp is there on that street now. But anyway, the parking garage is up here where I took the picture from. So just a little something to know about. If you're coming by bus, I know several of you are, we have a couple of changes this year. One of them is that buses should approach on First Avenue Street South, and that is this avenue here, and you're going to turn right onto Royal Brome and left onto Occidental, and you'll be able to drop your passengers right along Occidental here. This is the west entrance to CenturyLink, and that will put you really close to walking into the event. This is also where you can pick up your team as well. So there is no official on-site bus parking, so they don't have like large areas for parking of buses. However, the north lot has some limited bus parking. It costs $60. It's first come, first served. They don't have reservations for it. That's the best we've got for you. I wish First has no authority whatsoever when it comes to parking. Okay. Now, a little trick, and I apologize, I just realized I didn't put this into the slides, is on Friday, you'll need to check out, the Friday schedule has us leaving at about 6 o'clock. At 7 o'clock, there'll be about 40,000 people going to a soccer game in the stadium. So what they'll end up doing is they're going to close off Occidental Avenue. Now, what that means is that when your bus comes, they're going to approach this and they're going to see that this road is closed. If they turn on their turn signal and stare at the cop is supposed to go, oh, it's a school bus. They are supposed to know that there are students in the building, and they will let you in. They'd prefer and they request that if you're going to bring a bus in, that you have the bus arrive at 5 p.m. on Friday because of this soccer game. It'll make life a little bit easier for everyone. And what they're going to end up doing is they're going to queue the buses all the way down Occidental. They prefer that you do it that way. If you can't, then you'll be negotiating a large group of people trying to go to a soccer game. We have nothing we can do about that. Sorry about that. Okay. John is asking me to point out where the second floor garage is again. So I'm going to go back to our map. And this is the CenturyLink garage. And so it is, you come up First Avenue, you take a right on South Brome Way, and there's a ramp, and that ramp will go right up here and dump you into the second floor. It's kind of hidden behind the stadium roof here. So that's where the main parking is. Does that make sense to you, John? Okay. Let's talk about, and I'm going to, sorry, I keep flipping back and forth. I'm going to flip back here to logistics again. If you have a trailer and you would like to park, this is new as of a little while ago, so I didn't make it into the slides. If you're trying to park a trailer and you would like to park it overnight, the north lot, which is this lot up here, will have some spaces available that you can park a trailer overnight. It does not have in-out privileges, and it will cost you $11 a day. So it'll be $33 to park your trailer, and you can leave it there overnight. You'll need to work that out with when you arrive. We'll talk about arriving, but I'll tell you also about how to turn around and go park your trailer. So that's what we work out for parking this year. I hope that makes sense and hope that's convenient for everybody. It's just a joy to do. One more thing, the logistics of food are always a hassle when you go to a public venue. The concessions will be open Thursday through Saturday. They have box lunches available. The box lunches are $6. If box lunches from Levy, which is the on-site caterer, do not need to be pre-ordered. You can actually just buy them at the concession stand. So they're trying to, they learned a little bit from last year, and they're trying to be very reasonable on their pricing this time. So we appreciate that very much. You can also order from Gretchen's, and I'm now going to show you a link on our website right here. If you go to Seattle Regional, this is the firstwa.org website, and this is the landing page. And if you go to Seattle Regional and you go to team-specific information here, you'll find a lot of additional material, and this is good stuff for you to just read through real quick. It's got lists of things that you should be bringing and that sort of stuff. If you come down here, and you're going to find that some of the stuff, and I'm going to try and update it tonight. Some of the material here we got changed this afternoon, especially having to do with parking. So I will get that changed immediately. But here are your options for box lunches, and it also has a number that you can call to talk to Schwartz if you want to get the $4 box lunch. The $4 box lunch, I got to admit, was pretty good. $6 one was as well, but hey, if you're feeding several hundred people several hundred times, I understand that adds up, right? So you can take a look at this. This is as involved as I am with all of the catering and the food. I'm afraid I don't know a whole lot more than that. Okay. David from 360 is suggesting that if you're going to park your trailer overnight, remember up there in that north lot, don't leave anything in it. And I'm going to concur with him. You definitely, want to have a lock on it, and B, I think you should also realize that in the world of Seattle, this is one of the leaser, nicer places in Seattle. There's a lot of there are a lot of folks without very many resources who will scavenge resources from where they can, and if your trailer happens to be unlocked and there's something in it, it's likely to disappear. The north lot is not a secure parking lot by any stretch of the imagination, and the local inhabitants are quite good at taking things and finding ways to sell them. So there you go. Let's talk about the actual load-in day. Here's our guy. This is Kevin Crater. He's one of my favorite people on the planet. He is our load-in supervisor, and it's a kind of a big job, but he's does a great job at it. And we have load-in. Load-in starts this year. It's different than last year. It's from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Okay, and that's on Wednesday. Now, if you're traveling and you were unable to make it, we ask you to plan ahead and do everything you can to arrive in this time window. In fact, actually, we'd like you to arrive by 8 because 8:30 is really actually a hard close deadline. If you can't do it, let us know. It's okay. Send us email. You can also, just send us email. You can send it to me. Thursday morning, if you can't make it Wednesday, we'd really want you to show up at 7:45 and follow the exact same instructions we're about to give you at 7:45. Okay. The load-in process is very similar to last year. We made a couple of changes this year. Safety glasses are mandatory this time. There are a lot of people carrying a lot of like sticks and parts and pipes and all sorts of stuff, and you're likely to get smacked in the face. So please bring them. 5 people from each team maximum, please. We are not set up to handle anybody. We're not set up to. There's no food. There's nothing there. This is purely a working session. You're going to be there for like 10, maybe 15 minutes max, and then you're done. Okay. There's going to be people directing you where to go. Please don't plan on coming in, parking, taking your stuff in, and maybe lollygagging around. We can't really work that way on this. We need to bring in 92 teams in 2 hours, and that's a lot. We need you to really consider the logistics of this. We don't want you to leave your vehicle unattended. We need somebody who can drive it in case we need it moved. Okay. there's plenty of little parking spots, and we'll have little areas. It's a pretty big hall, so this actually worked well last year, but that's because everybody kind of followed these instructions. Bring a cart with you. Remember that your cart needs at least 3-inch diameter wheels. You need to that should give you at least 2 inches of ground clearance is what I'm really asking for. I would go with a 4 or 5 inch wheel because that just makes life easier. Okay, your load is going to go to 2 places. One of them is your robot, including your lockup form. Right, you've got a lockup form. Your robot and your lockup form need to go to the robot inspection station, which conveniently enough is parked right in front of the big load-in door, so you can't actually miss it. And then your pit materials are going to go into your pit. Okay. Remember that this is a drop it, load it in and drop it sort of thing. You're not setting anything up. You're not playing with your tools. You're not setting up your battery chargers. You're not doing anything like that. You're carrying your stuff in. You're setting it inside your 10-foot by 10-foot pit perimeter and making sure that everything is safe, and then you're going to leave. So you can't set up your pits. You can't put up your displays. You can't set up overhead things. That isn't. We're not equipped for that, and we're not ready for you to do that yet. Okay. Now the other thing that's going to happen is that the inspectors will do their quick job on inspecting your bag and tag compliance. So they'll be looking at your bag seals. Your robot should have its bumpers either in the bag or in a separate bag with a different tag on it, just like the instructions said, and bring that lockup form with you. Okay? Pretty straightforward. Any questions about that? So let's talk about how to actually get into the building then. To get into this, to get in for loadout, you'll want to come into that East Hall. To do that, you need to come to 2nd Avenue South and King Street. This is called the North Lot. When you pull in, there'll be a little gatehouse there, and there'll be a guy there to collect money from you. You don't have to pay him. You're going to tell him, I am here to drop off my first robot. At which point they should direct you to take a left, and you're going to come over by towards Union Station, and then you're going to hang a right, and there's an outside perimeter road that runs along the back side of the building. You'll find a security gate back here. It should be open. It should be open by 6. They'll probably open about 5:45, but it should be open by 6. You're likely to see a line of cars down here. It wasn't actually a very long line last time. It's only like 5 or 6 car wait, I think. This may take you a few minutes to get through, so please be patient. You're going to come down here, and there's going to be a large garage door right in this little notch in the building, and you'll drive straight in there and then follow the directions of the people who are in there. Okay, you're going to unload all your stuff. Somebody's going to take your robot through. The rest of your team is going to take their stuff to the pits. One person stays with the car, and there's probably room to come park down here somewhere. So it isn't complete craziness, but you're not there very long. So that's the key to this whole thing. Okay, so you're going to go to robot inspection. Once they've signed you off, you can put your robot in your pit, and you're ready. You're done. That's it. Okay, and then you can pull out, and you'll be coming out onto South Royal Brome Way, and you can hang a right, and you're off to the races and headed home. Any questions about how to get in? Two questions that usually come up, just in case somebody's too bashful to ask. Yes, this is a large door. You could probably bring a pickup truck with a trailer. Shouldn't be a problem. Minivans are not a problem. You actually could drive a box truck in there if you needed to. We'd appreciate it if your truck has a longer than a 16-foot bed. As you pull in, please stop and consider where you're headed. This is going to be a garage full of cars, because you may get stuck for a little while if you try and bring that big a truck in without sort of scoping out the lay of the land first. Okay, So there's no need to pay for any parking here. So you should be good. All right. That wasn't too bad. Let's talk about load out here for a sec. So load out is going to happen on Saturday, and I apologize. I have a document for it, and for some reason I didn't get it into the slides. Oh well. Starting about, and you'll get a copy of this document when you check in. At 1 p.m. on Saturday, we're going to make the East Hall available for loadout. And so you're going to be following a very specific set of instructions. This is going to be very similar to what we did last year. There's a couple of small changes to be made, though. First is there's a set of elevators over here where it says entrance. If you wanted to, you are more than welcome at 1 o'clock, starting at 1 o'clock, to gather up your stuff if you're done, and you can just wheel your stuff over into the East Hall, over by where it says entrance here, and there's elevators that will take you up to your vehicle. You're welcome to do that by hand if you would like. So you do not have to come through the East Hall to load out. And a lot of people did that last year with great success. So we recommend that if you can do that, that would be great. If you would like to use the East Hall, we're going to start. What we'll do is we're going to ask you to go ahead and gather up all your stuff. And remember, if you're going to a subsequent event, you have to bag and tag your robot at the event. Okay. And I believe the inspectors may have one little extra thing for you to do, and I'll have to check with Darren on that. We'll have written instructions for you on that. And then when you're ready to load out, you're going to go get a pass from the staff in this East Hall. So what will happen is that in order to use the East Hall to load out during the event, you have to go bring your stuff all the way up here to this corner where the doors are bigger. And somewhere out here there'll be a table and a guy handing out cards. We have cards A through K, and that will assign you one of the loading positions. So we're only going to allow about 12 vehicles in at a time, because it turns out loading requires a lot more room and logistics than unloading does. People are flinging ropes around and such. Plus, we do not have the ability to move that many cars into this hall. Okay, so they're going to give you a card. When they hand you the card, you can go get your vehicle. If they haven't handed you a card, you should not go get your vehicle. We can't. We don't have the staffing to do, and the facility hasn't staffed this to have a big line of people back here. So what that means is that you'll need to wait until you get a card, go up to the garage, get your vehicle. Now we will also at that time give you a pass. That pass will say that when you go to leave, the parking people will recognize that pass, and they will be able to say, oh, okay, you now have one in-out privilege. So you'll be able to leave, come down to Occidental, you go all the way up here, you do the whole north lot, come back down around thing, but then you can pull into the garage and you can wheel everything right up to your vehicle. Okay. Once you're done with that, and you've loaded your vehicle and given our attendants the card back, what you'll do is you're going to end up exiting on Royal Brome. And if you're going to head, so when you exit on Royal Brome, you're actually going to come out this door where that knows this car is. You're going to come right out here, and to get back to the parking lot, you have to drive down the end of this little street, and you're going to end up having to make a little U-turn here. So be really careful when you do that, because there is traffic that could be coming down this ramp. It isn't actually a very high traffic flow here, but please be careful. Okay. And then you'll drive back up this ramp and back into the garage with that little pass. Whew. Sorry about that. That's a real fire hose. Any questions about that? Now, the other thing that you'll need to know about Saturday is that we are going to close the East Hall for loadout during the final rounds in the award ceremonies. It was a little disruptive. We last year. So from about 4 p.m. till about 5:30, we're going to kind of stop the loadout process a little bit. It was distracting last year. Okay, you'll be able to start up again right after final awards. Okay. Now, after the award ceremony, we're going to run the whole thing just like we're going to end up opening the big garage doors, and we'll probably run the thing much more like load-in was, where you just come back up and around. Okay. I think that's all I got to say about that, unless there are any questions. Okay. So so far we've gotten you in and out of the building, so that's pretty good. Now I'm going to talk about Thursday. Thursday at 8:30 a.m. is when the pits are going to open. Now, remember, if you are a late arriving team of 7:45 to 8:30, you will be coming in down below and doing what we just did with load-in. Everybody else who's already dropped their stuff off is going to arrive at 8:30. And so at approximately, which usually means there's somebody standing there with a watch counting it down in my ear, the doors will open at 8:30. You need to wait for us to tell you to go ahead and come in. So don't keep trying doors thinking that you're going to be able to get into the pits before 8:30. You will get escorted back out. Sorry about that. Okay. It'll be very obvious when it's time to come in. You need to have safety glasses with you. So think about this as part of your logistics. You need to bring your safety glasses with you. We don't have them for you. So don't leave them in your pit area, because you need them to get in there. So keep your safety glasses with you on your way out during load-in. As you enter the building, there are two major ways. The west entrance is where all the people on buses and some people who are parking elsewhere will show up. And the other one is from the garage, and the garage is going to take you down to the concourse level, and that's the entrance is on the concourse level. There's always a large slug of people waiting outside the door. It's kind of fun. It's like getting into a rock concert, so yay, you can have fun with it. However, as you come in that upper entrance, if you're carrying a whole bunch of stuff, we're going to be watching for, well, two things happen. You're going to have to go down a set of stairs. And so we're going to meter the flow of people. So we may start and stop the crowd going down the stairs based on the load. Second thing is, if we think you're carrying too much stuff, if it doesn't look safe, if you're carrying a long thing, we may have you go down an elevator. We're trying to be really safe. It's very easy to take a couple of people out on those stairs and cause a chain reaction, which would be really bad. So we're pretty sharp on this. If we do ask you to go hit an elevator, please just go hit the elevator. And we're basically just watching for stuff that looks like it's potentially unsafe. Yes, I know that your kid may be a marathon runner and an Olympic shot putter, but if it looks unsafe, we're gonna tell them to go somewhere. Okay, so that isn't too bad. Registration starts. The team registration is open, and starting at 8:30, your lead mentor needs to come to the pit admin desk. You are required to bring with you the printed team roster from Tim's, plus any handwritten additions as needed. And if they are machine printed on Tim's, then that means that we already have consent forms for all those people. Anybody who is handwritten on the form needs to have a signed consent form, and that includes students and adults. So we need consent forms from everybody. And this is the legalese, and I have no leeway whatsoever with this. This is between you and FIRST. I'm merely the messenger. So please remember to bring this. One of you is going to forget, and it's a very painful process trying to send somebody back to school, or heaven forbid, having somebody have to go find the stack on your desk in 4 or 5 hours away and fax every one of those forms over. It's happened before. So if you get completely stuck, and if it sounds like you have to drive an hour and a half somewhere, come find me. I have ways of getting around this. One of them, like I just said, is to have somebody come fax those to you. It's actually a pretty good solution. So anyway, we're not trying to be a pain in the ass on this, but every year FRC gets sued by at least one or two people, and so they're pretty hawkish about this particular thing, as their insurance company would prefer that we all came, I believe, shrink wrapped and unable to touch anything. So okay, who to bring on Thursday? If you're new to this, Thursday you really want to bring your drivers and your core robot builders and your core mentors. If you're and the rest of this depends completely on your team logistics. If you're all traveling from out of state, bring everybody on Thursday. If you're in state and you've got like 90 kids on your team, honestly, Thursday is a pretty boring day unless you're working on the robot. You know, there's stuff to see and there's people to talk to, and it's a great experience. And so I don't want to dissuade anybody, but if you wanted to, you might consider having just a partial team on Thursday. Most teams do that. Whole team should be there on Friday and Saturday. Definitely, I'll warn you up front, Thursday is not a spectator day in the slightest. For a spectator, it's probably the most boring day ever. It's like watching paint dry. So, all right. Veteran teams, every year we have problems with bumpers and bumper material. If you think about it, you have any, even if it's just like one piece of red material or something like that, just throw it in your toolbox. In fact, actually, if you could take one of your older totes and just make a care kit. We are a week 4 event. The spare parts will be pretty well picked through by the time they get here. So anything you can do to help me out, I would really appreciate it. Sensors, motors, if you have Bainbot motors or gear heads, anything that you can think of that if somebody damaged, there's no way they could replace it. If you've got 1 or 2 extras, especially weird stuff, just kind of throw it in a spare box and kind of stuff it under your pit somewhere, and inevitably somebody is going to really need your help, and we'd really appreciate that. Okay? We're going to have a lot of people with software problems again this year, so if you've got a couple of programming mentors, I know for a fact all of our events are going to have teams that are in trouble on the software, both LabVIEW and C++ and Java, so all 3 control system things. So if you can help out, I appreciate that. For everybody, we learned this in spades last year. The laptops, just leave them on the chargers. The batteries on those laptops run anywhere from I've seen some of them last 5 hours. I've seen some that won't last more than about 15 minutes. So if just leave the laptop on the charger whenever you possibly can. Okay. Your robot batteries, your charger should always be full. If you've got batteries just sitting there, you may be making an error. And also the battery chargers. I don't know much about the new ones this year, but the ones from last year, we had real problems with them claiming to completely fully charge a battery in about an hour, and it just won't do it. These batteries take several hours to charge fully. So anyway, keep your battery on the charger. All right, we're almost done here, folks. Some key volunteers for you to know about. This is Paul Rausch. He is our machine shop lead. We have a brand new machine shop trailer. It's gorgeous. You'll see it this year. And actually, he's bringing 2 trailers to our event this year, and they're there to help you the best they can. So we will very, very hopefully get you some great help if you need it in our machine shop this year. Machine shop opens at 8:30, and all of these little ditties apply. We have volunteers in the machine shop on site to help you out, and we have a mill, a lathe, and a whole bunch of really good tools. Now, only the machine shop volunteers are authorized to use these tools. It's partially insurance and partially we just want to make sure that we don't break anything because there's a lot of people depending on this stuff. So you'll need to be, if you need to have something made or if you need the machine shop, you need to bring a part. I would highly recommend having drawings and dimensions, and if it's going to mate with something, kind of drag the whole thing over there and give the volunteer a chance to see what it is that he's making for you, so that they can help the best they can. We also have a TIG welder if you need some aluminum welded, and it's a beautiful new TIG welder. It is really top-notch equipment, so that's great. There are request forms for your team, and all of this is going to be located out in the East Hall. You'll find it. The really key thing is, and don't even bother asking, they're not going to loan you tools. Even if you just say, oh, if I could just borrow your ball peen hammer for a minute, they're not going to end up doing that. So you're going to spend a lot of time in line and then get up there and be disappointed. If you need to borrow tools, you'll need to borrow it from another team. The machine shop tools are sacred and off limits to being loaned out. Okay. A few people. I've got a couple of questions here I'm going to throw in real quick. John has asked if this is going to be rebroadcast. Yes, I'm recording this, and it'll be up on the web in a couple of hours. Koji has asked, do we have to have written consent forms even if they have done the online consent form? Kind of missed what you said there. If when you print out your TIMS roster, and that your lead mentor needs to do that, if their name is machine printed on that form, then we have a consent form. They do not need a paper one. If they have a hand edited or a hand applied name, then we're going to be looking to see that there's a signed consent form for that person. Hopefully that made sense. John's also asking, can you please clarify how much stuff we can bring into the arena? I think the rule is we can bring 30 pounds of raw material in addition to the COTS parts. Is that right? Actually, the rule is you can bring 30 pounds of manufactured material, and those would include parts that belong on your robot. So you were able to withhold 30 pounds of mechanism from your robot before you bagged and tagged. You're also allowed to bring replacement COTS parts, and I don't know that there's a limit on that, but anything that's on your robot that is supposed to be there during, on your robot during contest, as opposed to parts that could replace a part that broke on your robot, are not counted in 30 pounds. Did that make any sense whatsoever to you, John? And while John's answering that, Gokul has asked, for non-classmate laptops, are there outlets at the driver's station so we can plug them in during the competition? No, there are not. I believe the driver's station has a classmate. I believe the driver's station has a classmate plug there for you, or a classmate power supply. If it's not a classmate, it may not fit. In fact, it probably won't fit. Okay. So John has asked me to give an example. My team has elected, as part of the 30 pounds, to take the shooting assembly off. The shooting assembly includes a frame, 4 wheels, 2 motors, some chains, that sort of stuff. The shooter assembly weighed 11 pounds, so we saved out 11 pounds. We also saved out another part which we call the horn, and that weighed about 2 pounds. So we actually only left off about 13 pounds. Okay, so that applies to our 30 pounds of materials. I am bringing with me some extra Jaguar controllers. I am bringing with me some short lengths of aluminum that are not cut or manufactured to do anything. They're just flat out raw material. I'm bringing with me some replacement chain. I've brought with me replacement chain links. I've brought with me a replacement sprocket. none of that counts against that 30 pounds because these are not parts that are intended to be put on the robot. These are replacement parts for a part that's already on the robot. And these are off-the-shelf parts, by the way, okay? So the things that I manufactured and built specifically to be on my robot are apply against the 30 pounds. Things that I've purchased that are replacement parts do not. Does that make sense to you, John? So the kit of parts. So we are watching as you're coming in. We're watching for people, and inevitably somebody will attempt to bring in their robot control board. Another kid will be carrying what looks like half of a robot base, and another kid might be carrying what looks like the other half of a robot base. So in other words, we have seen teams show up trying to carry what is in essence their robot in, and we've called them on it before. So it wasn't in the bag, and it was more than 30 pounds. So we are watching for it. We are not going to stop everybody and weigh everything, but we know what we have very experienced inspectors. We know what we're watching for. Okay. I hope that answered your question, John. Okay, we're getting close here, folks. We have a bunch of key volunteers that I want to point out to you, and I'll show you the pictures here in just a sec. There are a few things that you really need to understand so that you don't get tripped up and upset. Somebody is going to get tripped up and upset and come yell at me, and that's fine. If you everybody here is a volunteer, they're all here to have a good time. If you need to yell at somebody, you can come yell at me. Come find me. I will gladly accept all of your yellings. I may yell back at you, but that's okay. I try to do it graciously and professionally. Everybody else is a volunteer. So please realize that when you're interacting with them. The key things that always trip somebody up are if you have a question about the game, go to a referee. Nobody else can answer a question about the game. I can't answer a question about the game. Okay, so if you're relying on some guy who had a volunteer badge on said that yes, you can do that, and the referees say not, the referees are in charge. They're the official last word on all of this. Okay, if you have technical questions about inspections, you need to go to inspectors. Again, we have great inspectors. They're very experienced. We have so they are the ones that have all the training and are authorized to make decisions like that. Your last line of defense after me is the excuse me, the FTA, and our lead FTA this time is Frank Merrick, who's also the deputy director of FIRST, and he is he's the top dog. So if you need to go over my head, let me know. I'll set you up with Frank. He's a very, very pleasant fellow, and but his ruling is absolute and final. That's just how it works. Okay, so let me show you who we've got online. We have Brogan Thompson and Ron Baker. Brogan is the best in the business, in my opinion, and Ron is modeled right after Brogan. These are great guys. They do an amazing job. They are very experienced. They will help you do whatever you need to do on the field. Just follow their directions, and you'll have a great time. We have two head referees, one on each field. David Martucci is the head ref on one field, and Mike York is actually out on medical. We just found out he had a little bit of problem with one of his eyes and decided that it would be best for the referee to be able to see rather than just sort of do it by braille. So we have another friend of ours, Andrew, I think it's Yeckel is his last name, and he's also an experienced judge, and he will be stepping in to handle things for Mike. Okay. This is our lead robot inspector, Darren G. Darren is a very experienced mentor. He is really into this. He is the most helpful guy on the planet. As far as inspectors go, he's your best friend. He knows a lot, and he's very, very good at helping you out. Elita Mendez, who I still can't seem to find a picture of, is the other lead robot inspector, and between the two of them, they'll take really great care of you. Okay. All right, we're home stretch here. We're just going to talk about the inspection process real quick, and we'll get you through it. John is asking a very good question. If a student or mentor wears prescription eyeglasses, does he have to have safety glasses? Answer is yes. However, if they are glasses of appropriate size and you have side shields, which you can get at most safety supply houses, Granger has them. They're little side clips for side eye protection. Then you can get away with wearing just glasses. Otherwise, we need you to wear what are called over glasses, and you'll need to provide those for yourself. Does that make sense to you, John? Okay. Inspection. This is Thursday. The key to your happy life is to pass inspection early. Okay. Involves 4 steps. The first thing you're going to do is size and weigh in, and we're going to take your robot, we're going to put it in a big box. If it fits in the box, you're golden. If it doesn't fit in the box, you may have some sawing to do. The size limits for the robot are strictly enforced by this box. The inspectors have nothing to do with it other than to watch the robot go in the box. And if it doesn't fit, you're in trouble. Okay. The weighing is done, but we have a couple of scales. They're commercial scales. They should be calibrated. And the inspectors will walk you through that. Your robot without the battery or bumpers needs to weigh 120 pounds or less. If you weigh 120.1 ounces, they may give you a break, depending on what they've been seeing in terms of the scale being off or not. If you weigh 120.2 ounces, you're likely to be asked to go remove some weight somehow. It's not uncommon for teens to be a little overweight. So you want to get that done almost immediately. This is one of the things that will take you a great deal of time to fix. So get weighed and sized immediately. Control system inspections are done at the CSA station. I don't know what all of that involves this year, but I know that they want to, they're just going to do a quick check to make sure you've got correct versions of the firmware and such. Starting at 8:30, you can also sign up for your robot inspection appointment. You want to do this immediately. Get on that list. You want to be inspected as soon as possible. Okay. At some point, we need you to go out and connect to the field. It could be during a practice round, or we may just haul you out there to do it. Okay. Key thing to understand: the inspectors are your friends. These are actually could literally be you literally could be people you know. These are mostly mentors from other teams. Okay, they are extraordinarily helpful. They are not there to beat you down or to put you down or put roadblocks in your way, but they will make you comply to the rules. Okay, they're very gracious about how they do it. They will literally help you pass inspection. So that's how you need to look at these guys. They're not the enemy. They're there to help, and they are very, very helpful people. So that's how you should look at this. Okay. Robert, I've got that here in about 2 slides. Okay. All right. Starting the inspection process. Anytime after 8:30, you can get in the weigh and size line. After that, you're going to stop at the CSA desk for a control software check, and then you can also sign up to get on that inspection list. Do that early. It's really rare for a robot to pass inspection on its first attempt. And actually, this even applies to teens who have already been to another event. You still have to pass inspection here, and you know, hey, it turns out that a new set of eyes inspecting your robot might find something that the other guys didn't, and you'll still need to get it fixed. Okay, so this is an iterative process. It's not uncommon for inspectors to come back 2 or 3 times. That's why I'm urging you to get this done early. Okay, the other key to doing this early is that if you've got something that's going to take a lot of time to fix, and it happens often, you want to know about it really, really soon. Okay, so you can start asking for help, getting the supplies you need, and all the rest of that stuff. Teams must connect to the field as part of inspection. I think I already brought that up, and I'll get to that a little bit more later. I apologize. The bring BOM to size and weigh in on USB key is no longer necessary. We're not doing that this year, so you can ignore that. But you do need to pass inspection to earn your qualifying points. There's a there is a WPA key assignment step that you need to do. And this, we're going to give each robot a unique security ID. There will be information about how to do this in your packet. And I believe we have somewhere set up that can help you with this if you're having troubles. So we will, I'll be honest with you, I did not get the full setup on this. And actually what I'm going to do, sometimes Robert's microphone works, sometimes it doesn't. We're going to see what happens. Hey, Robert Steele, is your microphone working?
You tell me.
Yes, it is. How are you?
Pretty good.
For WPA for the security key assignment, did it come on paper this year, or is it a station they have to go visit?
I believe, in having just come from Portland, there was a station there that you go, and that was all we did.
Okay.
So there was a station. You just plug in your radio, and they walk you right through it right there.
Okay, then that's what we're going to have people do. Thanks. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to talk to Darren to see how that went. So, all right, good. I'm going to mute you again. There we go. So there is a station. Yay! The joys of being sick the week before your presentation, right? Koji is asking if we have updates to do on the robot. Should we wait for them to be done before signing it for inspection? I would say no. Now, if any time you make a major update to the robot, you will need to get it re-inspected. But Koji, I would say have them come look anyway. They'll go through everything that isn't going to get changed and catch stuff for you. So I think that thinking that you're going to change your whole robot out during the day and then get inspected late in the afternoon is oftentimes a mistake. Have them come look early, because what you've currently done is likely to be very similar in style and the wiring and all the rest of that stuff to what you are likely to do during the day. And if you need to correct something, it'd be good to get that done. Okay, Glenn, you need to bring a bill of materials. Yes, you do. You don't need to bring an electronic copy of it, but it needs to be there for the robot inspectors to look at. Okay, and I think that you can just bring a printed out copy of it. In fact, I'll rephrase that. You can bring a printed out copy of it. You don't need to give us an electronic one. Okay. Does that okay? So let me rephrase that for everybody. The bill of materials is a document that you should download from the FIRST website. And I know there's some rookies here who may not know this. So if you go up here, this was a question from the last one as well. So for the last time I did this, if you go up to the old competition manual and related documents, and so this is on the FIRST website, and you go all the way down here to the bottom, under tournament, there's the inspection bill of materials template. Okay, and if you click on this, it will open up a spreadsheet. And the spreadsheet looks suspiciously a lot like this fellow, and it has columns for what the part is, it's a brief description, what it was made from, and where did you get it. Okay, now check the rules on this. You only need to tell us what you provided outside the kit of parts. Okay, so if you bought, say, extra set of wheels from AndyMark, or you bought an extra gearbox, that needs to go on here. If the part came out of the kit of parts, you do not have to put it on here. So that's sort of the key to this whole thing. What we're looking to do is to verify that you've made an inventory of what you've spent outside the kit of parts, and that no single item is over the limit, and that the total cost is not over the limit. The usual question is, what do I do with, I bought a bunch of aluminum, what do I do with it? Well, it is okay to say we bought 70 pounds of extruded aluminum, right? Because rather than, add up each little individual 1.5-inch piece of material, it is acceptable to say we used 75 pounds of extruded aluminum, and it cost us, I think the going rate's probably about $4 or $5 a pound, and you can put that down as your amount. Okay, does that make sense? If it was in the previous year's kit of parts, then you also need to include it on this list. If it wasn't in this kit of parts, you need to include it on this list and give us the estimated cost and value of it. Did that make sense to you, David? Okay. All right. So print this out, bring it with you. You need to have it available for the inspectors. All right. So we've got that going for us. All right. Connecting to the field is sort of the final step. Now, I'm going to say this in conjunction to the fact that we have a practice field set up. If you run a practice match during the day, as in you go out to the official field, your official field, by the way. If you're on Olympic, you have to go to the Olympic field. Cascade, you have to go to the Cascade field. And you run at least one match or get out on the field with at least one match and connect to the computer. We know that you've connected and we're happy with you. Okay. If you're unable to make a practice match, and this is actually this is very common that you're unable to make one of your practice matches, we are going to ask you to take some time and wheel whatever carcass of a robot you've got. We've seen them come out on carts completely disassembled with a blinking light in a toolbox and a battery, and it didn't even look like a robot. It was just a splat. But if you can get it out there and we can connect successfully to your CREO and the main computer, then we're happy. This is a mandatory step. This is a step that will really help us get you up and running. If you don't do this step, we're going to come find you, and we're literally going to stand there. There'll be a whole group of inspectors standing around you going, come on, put all your stuff on a cart and bring it out. We need you to do this. Okay. It takes time to track these software issues down. We don't want to try and do it on Friday morning. We don't want you to have to go out to the field multiple times trying to figure out what's going wrong. We can take 5 or 10 minutes to track down what the issue is on Thursday. There's no way we can do that for you on Friday, and we really want you to be able to compete. So this is in your best interest to do this. We're not trying to be sticklers. We're using our experience and trying to get you out there. Okay, so help us out with that. All right. I swear we're almost done. The practice rounds on Thursday start probably around 11 a.m. There'll be a printed schedule. You'll have 3 scheduled practice matches. They usually run until about 5 p.m. You do not have to pass inspection to go out to a practice match. In fact, you don't even have to be able to put your robot on the field. You can just cart it out there, connect to the radio, and go back. Just reinforcing what I said earlier. It's really common for teams not to be ready. If you would like to run an additional practice match and you're ready to go, you may go queue up in a line out there, talk to the lead queuer, and if there's an open spot, it's on first come, first served basis. If there's an unclaimed spot on the field, you can go out and run and practice. Highly recommend doing this, by the way. Priority, by the way, you may be almost all the way set up and somebody comes out and they haven't been on the field yet and it's their scheduled time, we may pull you back. So realize that whoever's scheduled or whoever has never been out there before is always going to get priority. So please be gracious and professional on that one. We really appreciate it. Okay, we're right up to the end here, folks. And I'm harping on it. I got to harp on it because we have to harp on it every year. If you haven't started inspection by 3 p.m. on Thursday, you're making a huge mistake. And even experienced teams will tell you that this is just, you're putting yourself in a really wicked position. So get yourself on the schedule as early as you can. If you're not on there by 3, you're going to find me standing in your pit going, you need to be on the inspection list, okay? Because you can really bamboozle yourself by putting this off, okay? Do not be bashful about asking for help. you're in a room full of people who have done this before, and a room full of, half the people have done it before, about half of them haven't, and we've all been there and done that. Okay, so please ask us for help. There are teams literally eager to help you out. It's a badge of honor to help another first team. Okay, be forewarned. The inspectors leave the building at 7:45. It's when we stop inspections. The pits are going to close at 8. I am literally going to come around and drag you out at 8 o'clock. So if you're thinking you can start your inspection at 7 o'clock, you have not left enough time, and you're going to be at risk at not being able to play your first round or two on Friday. Inspections do not stop on Thursday. The inspectors will be available to inspect you all the way up until Saturday afternoon. So if you don't finish Thursday, come back on Friday and keep going. We will work through the logistics of you missing a match or two, but we will get you to run. You should also realize, especially all the rookie teams, it has been many, many years since a team did not play on Friday. It's especially with our inspectors. You'll be amazed at how much effort they will put into getting you to pass inspection and out on the field. They have a motto, no robot left behind. They've made good on that promise for many years, and this year will be no exception. So we're here to help. All right, end of Thursday. Excuse me. The pits close at 7:45 on Thursday. You have to be out of the building by 8. The building closes at 8. So you'll find me wandering around, literally asking you to just leave whatever's there. Make sure it's not going to catch fire, and it's now time to leave. And we're very, very serious about this. So the EMTs leave at 8. The building wants to close down. The volunteers want to go home, so we will kick you out on Thursday, graciously and professionally. All right? Because then go sleep, because Friday is actually the longer day, but I'm not even going to talk about Friday. All right. That sort of concludes this presentation. I'm really excited about the event this year. It's going to be a good one. I think that this game is very interesting, is a lot of fun, and it'll be great. If you have any questions, you can contact me. This recording is going to be up on the web in a couple of hours, and it will be up on this this link up here, FRC Seattle Regional Team Briefings. And I forgot to mention media crew. If you've got photographers that want to take pictures on the floor, they're not going to be able to unless they go up and find the media crew information. It's on firstwa.org under FRC, and look for media crew. Okay. All right. With that, I'm going to wish you good night, and we'll see you next week.